We're all looking for somebody who will get the job done. Show me, and then let's get it done. Stay tuned for this one, everybody.
Anything done, you know who to call.
We got a little chit chat here. This is where St. Louis is such a well-connected community, and if you're not connected, it's not too hard if you just first become a Cardinal fan. I would say that would be a benefit. And you've all got. You said you go to 40 games a year.
I
sometimes?
I used to. I lived at Busch. I love it.
That's great. There's lots of connections that can be made there, and Keelyn and I are talking a little bit about how it is, and I said, you remind me in a productive way of how my mom gets things done. And you get it done. That's it. There's nothing, you get it done. She's the director. My dad would make the joke. She was the director of everything. She would make sure that things got done. And that's what we need in people in our culture, in our community. And show our young ladies too, that they can get it done. Just better than the guys most of the time. My mom showed this to me. So tell me, what is the biggest mistake that people often make when they're in this phase? They're trying to remodel, they're trying to upgrade, they're trying to make some changes to their home. What's the biggest mistake you made? You tell me a few things there in our little break.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is overlooking the attention to detail. I keep talking about details and the quality for the price. Investing in your home is really, really important, and I understand, obviously we all want to be budget conscious, but there's a lot of things that can get overlooked or missed. So coming in with kind of not doing your homework, doing your research, getting multiple bids, asking the hard questions, asking if people are doing this permitted, talking to them about the types of subcontractors they're using, if they're also licensed, insured. That's a huge thing, because oftentimes we find if you get if you're bidding a project and you're up against people and they're like, well, somebody else came in $10,000 lower than you, it's a red flag for me. Like, hey, I completely understand. I'm not looking for you to spend more money than you need to, but let's walk through it a little bit and talk about some of the details. Then we find out, it's not going to be a permanent job. The licensed trades aren't coming in. It's some random person doing tile work that, you're not really sure. And also, you have people coming in your home. One of the things that I've always prided myself on, too, is we have really good employees. No criminal histories, that kind of thing, where you're comfortable. That was one of my big things on the electrical side, too. Like, I want to be comfortable as a woman having a person in my home. And so, we make sure our guys are all very respectful, take care of homes. You wouldn't feel uncomfortable. That's the other thing, too. Like, people are going to be in your home a lot, especially if you're doing a bigger project, and being able to trust that company and the people that are working for them.
Well said. Yeah, I mean, we've all familiar with Chuck and a truck, and there probably is a guy named Chuck who has a truck. We're not trying to offend him specifically, but build that reputation, build all of the resources you've got around to get the great looking website, have the connections in the community, and know what you're talking about. That's really where you've got the background. I can tell somebody's going to have you come in and talk to them for a minute, and they're going to go, Keelyn knows what she's doing. I've had people. I'm a really techie nerdy guy, so I would get done, and they go, I don't know what he said, but I can tell he knows what he's doing. And so I think you're in that category where it's just like, you've done this, you know what it takes to get these done, and you're going to make sure the project is done correctly. Because if you cut corners, you got Chuck in a truck. You talked about somebody, they're coming into your house, they're working with you, and next thing they're gone. What happened to them? How do I communicate with them? How do I follow up with if there's an issue or something we wanted to change, or the plans, so we can figure out what you built and all things that need to be managed properly.
Yeah, reviews and making sure that you ask those kind of questions are really important too. We've all heard the horror stories of people that have taken a deposit and never showed up to even do the work,
right.
Which hurts us too, because when somebody has that experience or heard somebody else with that experience of somebody like paying them for work and them not completing it, like, we have to ask for a deposit for a lot of reasons. We're pre-ordering materials, and that's the big reason for it, and the commitment too, because we're scheduling you out. We're leaving a hole in our schedule. But that hurts us when somebody else has burned them, because then when we ask for a deposit, they're like, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. And it's like, well, I need it because I got to order a bunch of materials and do those things. So those contractors, those shady contractors out there really hurt the ones that are doing a good job for many reasons. People are skeptical of us. They, definitely don't always trust people then moving forward. So that chuck in the truck analogy is all too often, and people who or also leave them and don't finish the project. That's a huge thing. Like they start it and then they leave their bathroom unfinished for like 3 weeks because they pulled off to go do another job or they left town. I mean, it happens all the time. So it's really important that you work with somebody that you know and you trust and that has good reviews, or that is a personal reference, or you know somebody who's worked with them.
Well said, yes, and that's what we want to bring to the community here. Do you do residential and commercial? Tell me where most of your business comes from and what you enjoy.
Yeah, so 50-50 right now, residential and commercial. Love the residential projects. We really love doing basement finishes. Those are really, really fun. Bathroom and kitchen remodels have also been right in our wheelhouse, and we've also done some smaller projects, built-in cabinets, under stairs projects, and then we've done a couple of big commercial projects in the area. We did local men's wellness clinic build out in Fenton, and then we just finished a big restaurant build out in Cottleville, and we're getting ready to start a nail salon in Afton. So
covering the whole region there.
Yeah.
I grew up in Fenton. My mom taught at Afton, and now I live out close to Cottleville. Good stuff. But you've got everything there as far as the core areas, and there's so much you can bring to the table here with St. Louis. You got Chesterfield, and I'm sure you've done lots of work. Where's your favorite? Not to pin you down, but where you have favorite places that you worked, places that you've done a lot of work at that you think you've done good work? Where would you say you've done a lot of good work?
Yeah, I mean, I think South County. We're from South County. We live in South County, specifically Afton area. We're part of the Afton Chamber of Commerce, that kind of thing. But I love working in South County. I think South County has a lot to offer, and a lot of good schools, a lot of good families, a lot of good businesses. And I love seeing South County grow, selfishly, because I live there and I want to see more. But then also, it's that our local community. I grew up in Chesterfield, so I love working in Chesterfield too. There's really not a place I don't want to work, but I love South County.
Cool. Cruise in Lindbergh. Have you heard?
Yes,
Jason,
that was my mom's thing that they used to do. My mom grew up in South County too. Actually, went to Lindbergh High School where my girls will go, and I heard that was a big thing. I tried to do it in like the 2000s. It wasn't as popular then.
Yeah, so. It's made a comeback here. One of our guests, Jason LeCavalier, talked about it and put it together and runs it. And it's turned into a great community stuff. Everybody just drive the cars up and down Lindbergh Boulevard down there, right between 55 and 44.
It's come back. People park their hot rods and things and show off their cars. Yeah, I know. It's super fun.
Lots of cool, fun stuff there. Well, good work you're doing there. What do you like most about the St. Louis market overall? I mean, is it because the whole market, you get a lot of diversity here, a lot of different ways, the structure, the types of buildings? What do you like most about what you do in St. Louis?
I love St. Louis. I was born and raised here. Never left. Everyone always asks me that question. Went to school briefly in Columbia, but I love the St. Louis area. We have so much history. We have so many really cool buildings. One of the big things I love is the architecture and the history in the homes in the Webster, Kirkwood, even Midtown area down by Wash U. I think a lot of people are in a hurry to get rid of some of that custom millwork and just clean it and make it modern, but man, find somebody like us that's doing that good work correctly and using the characteristics from those older homes and really building upon them instead of taking them all out. So many times we see remodels where they just eliminated all of the character and the expensive millwork of the home, and it's like, oh, we could have done something with that, and it could have been so beautiful instead of just taking it all out.
Oh, yeah, there's so much great architecture here in St. Louis, and you talked about some of the best parts of St. Louis, if you want to get some of the authentic 100, 150-year-old homes, Kirkwood and Webster, and they're just dynamite. And I can imagine tearing that out for something modern.
It happens all the time. It's like rather than stain it and refinish it or paint it, just take it out. And my goodness, it's making a comeback. I mean, you've seen all this custom millwork, wainscoting that's coming back now. People are paying a lot of money for that. As a matter of fact, we're redoing a home right now. We're putting all this custom millwork in the whole house. And then on the same time, we're seeing other people just rip it all out, and it's painful sometimes to see.
Oh, no, yeah. That is not what we want to see, but that's people, they've got their method, and they see the latest shiny object. Hey, keep that old stuff around. It's authentic and real. Tell me a time when you've had a client that was kind of out on a limb that you had to come through for them and make something happen.
Oh, man, I feel like that's a lot of people, because when we get into projects, right, new things come about, or we change our mind as we start to really see it come to life, and we want to, completely change course in the middle of the project. That happens, and it's not through the fault of not planning appropriately or whatnot, but it's like, hey, you know what, I love this, and now I want to do this too, and so we got to pivot quickly often and make things work often. Just by adding, again, I go back to the importance of planning, adding a light or adding another water source or something like that. I mean, that takes a lot of work to then switch gears really quickly. So, Probably the biggest one that I think, it wasn't really like out on a limb, but we one of our first projects was a custom man cave, and he wanted it to be the man cave of all man caves. And man, I felt like we really delivered on that. At a 12-seat bar, like 8 TVs, this amazing concrete slab floor, lit up coffers that coordinated with the bar that lit up. There's a great video on our website of this project, but I mean, I think if you ask the homeowner too, we knocked it out of the park for his vision of his ultimate man cave.
That's what we're talking about, yeah. Because there's so often, I mean, I can't help it in your space. There's no project that ever starts exactly the way it finishes the way they initially planned. There's always some adaptations or some changes, and life is all about how you adjust to change. My boss, remember, there's a change in our department. He put up a sign. Life is about how you respond to adversity. My dad would say, it's not the error that causes you to lose the game. It's how you respond to that error. And in this case, just the change that somebody wanted to make. Oh, we want to move this table over here, the countertop over there. Well, countertop's got to have some structural stuff and all those types of things that you need to make sure that they're accounted for. Very cool. What is a challenge you've overcome as a business owner, somebody who's been doing this for a long time and now have your own business? And give us one of the hurdles that made you stronger or something. Obviously, you're still here, so it worked out. But
yeah, I think, people only see the fun part of owning a business, right? Your name, and you're on a show and all these things, or, maybe it's the nicer home or whatever as a business owner. But the nitty gritty of owning a business, it's tough. You're accountable for people's lives, their families too. So I think, the biggest thing is dedicating as much time as I can to my business, but also managing my personal life. Like I said, I have 2 children, so it's hard because I'm a workaholic. I would work all day and all night if I could, but finding that balance, overcoming the time management, and just making sure I'm really dedicated. So when I'm with my family, I'm on with my family, and when I'm at work, I'm on at work. So definitely finding that balance, I think, because I want to do it all, and I want to do it all fast, and I want to do it all perfect, and it all takes time. So finding that balance at home as well is hard, especially as a female leader. When it's not a surprise, women, also lead their households as well as careers and businesses and things like that. So finding balance.
There you have it. Make time for all of it, but get it done. Make sure, write this. We got a big pencil here. You're supposed to take notes here. She said a lot of things to take note of. We've been flying through here, but we want to make sure that we address some of the important stuff here and stay on top of things. With that, more fun, we're going to play a little clip. This is when a local lady who's been around working in our community for 60 years was inducted into the Missouri Thespian Hall of Fame. And talking about a female leader making it happen like we have here on our show. Check this out.
Look her up in a newspaper. While the stories that feature her work, you will recognize some of the amazing students she has had who have gone on to incredible careers both inside and outside of the arts. What you may not see unless if they come to the spring play, they'll see that. Is her work every day recognizing the beauty and the talents of her students and the community that they create. Judy, I am so incredibly happy to present this award to you. You are a beautiful human being. You have created and continue to foster a beautiful community. And I'm very happy to present you with your well-earned place in the Missouri Thespian.
Come on.
I can't miss a little time to talk, but what I want to say to you is I think if the drama teachers took over the Department of Education, we would have a much better education system. Driving force with my whole career is the people that I worked with. And we had a wonderful group that started in the 70s and went through the 80s. And I really never intended to spend 60 years in one job. But with COVID, you know, you kind of couldn't leave. And I think it's important that you realize that you're on the shoulders of all the people before you. And that's why I wanted to do this. And I also want you to know that the people that are running this conference are just astonishing. This conference has grown so much I can hardly believe it.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there is no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com. With that, everybody, we're talking about the our world of media, right? Even our phone blowing up at us and our watches going off. But our technology has really changed the way the world has evolved. And so I wrote this introduction here. They said, Carter, we're going to put this in you're going to write the introduction for our book. I said I essentially wrote the first chapter. But media, magnetize your media. This is already a bestseller on Amazon, and it kind of gives you a great resource for tapping into the media and the way the world is. You've got to do these things right now. It's you've got all kinds of pictures. Tell us, how has the world evolved since you've been involved? You've been doing this in this space for 10 years.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen how media and technology has changed the way it's done?
Yeah, so that is a really good question, and it's been a puzzle to try to figure out. So, how are people really finding contractors? And what's interesting is 10 years ago, we used a lot of web-based searches, like contractor near me, and your website really mattered and things like that. What's interesting now is we made this total shift to these local community pages on Facebook. Like, does anybody have a licensed electrician they recommend? There's these handyman pages. Every neighborhood now has its own little group where people are getting word of mouth referrals, but on social media. And so as we look at like website traffic and things like that, sure, people go there eventually, but how they actually hear about you is more on social media, mainly Facebook and Instagram. They're looking for pictures and personal attestations and referrals from other people. So we've really had to shift our focus to meeting people where they are. Same with finding employees too. I mean, they are looking on social media.
Yeah, it's just changed. That's a great segue. You talk about how that has transferred over to, people now. It's just the bulletin board is Facebook, where you go and you check things and find out. Now they will end up on the website because they want to find more information, and you need to have a website in place, because if you don't, then they're going, well, you must not be legitimate if you don't. But how we communicate and how we relate information to each other goes through this new social media stuff. So try to engage in that, and get the resources out there so people can figure out who you are and what you do. Tell me the process, though. After somebody's found you, they're referred to you, go to the website, fill out the form, call you direct. What's the best way to get started?
Yeah, so you can reach us several different ways. We've got info at Show Me Design Build, which you can just reach out to us via email on our website. There's the contact us page, or you can call us. Either way, we're going to get some information from you up front, basic information, what you're looking to do, where you're located, budget if you have one, any kind of information you want to share with us, and then we do offer those free on-site consultations. So from there, we'll set up an appointment to come out and take a look at your space and your potential project. Once we do that, we'll determine what's needed and put together a proposal for you.
Yeah, so you like to meet with people face-to-face at their home when they're going to make these kinds of decisions?
I do. There's so much that goes into, again, like I told you, the estimating and quoting, like the age of the home, certain things that we're working around, people's needs. You uncover a lot from somebody when you're in their home. Like, hey, I noticed this. Is that something you want to make sure you have in your next project? Even as aging customers is a perfect example of widening doorways, making sure new showers are ADA compliant. If you're 70, getting into an age where, something might happen and you might need to be, have it more accessible, wheelchair, walker, that kind of thing. Those are things that we help clients think about.
Yeah, I know when my dad had his stroke, and then we had to essentially modify the whole house and put up rails, and we got 2 bathrooms remodeled and wider doors and make it for wheelchair accessible. But you have to make those changes. A lot of people do want to, is that called aging in place? A lot of people have told, is that the phrase I've heard?
Aging in place.
Yeah, and so you'll end up taking the house you've got and just make some amenity changes, and you'll come in and modify those and make them ADA, like you said.
Yeah.
Make them compliant so that they work according to the guidelines that have been set forth, and get that process done. Let's go over a few more of I wanted you to talk specifically on your website. Specifically, you have a cool video. You're stealing some of my place from my playbook here. If you go under see our work, and there's a number of pictures, and you can click on there. You can see a montage of all the different, laid out in a timeline, and see the befores and afters and everything. And you got all kinds of stuff there. This video was interesting, though. Tell me a little bit about this video. We're going to play this for everybody.
Yeah, so this was a basement project that we took on. This particular customer, South County customer, wanted, this basement was completely unfinished concrete before, and he wanted a man cave of all man caves. So we have a 12-person bar there for entertaining, 2 beverage refrigerators, lit up coffers that match the bar, tons of TV screens. The ice maker was not in for the shoot, but that whole bar was built, bathroom, bedroom down there, and the idea is this is the ultimate place for sports watching, and I think we knocked it out of the park. At the end of this video too, you'll see tons of storage, and then lit up shelves that match for highlighting liquor bottles and all kinds of things. There's the coffers that match underneath the bar, all different colors, so he could change it: red for Cardinals, blue for Blues. He's got every color in the coffers and underneath the bar. So I think we knocked it out of the park on this one. We had some really cool concrete pour flooring. Yeah, you can see that's the bar.
That's a great bar. What Taj Mahal was this? Was this what?
It
looks like somebody's.
Yeah, no, he wanted it to be impressive, and I felt like we really knocked it out of the park. He had a lot of things that he wanted and was trying to describe his vision, but that was a true design build project of ours.
Well, that's impressive stuff, and video, man, compels. And some of those were even still images of the video, but inserted into the video, and you can just do so much that gets people's attention when you do produce things that look great. Show off what you do. Show what you're capable of, and put it out there. What is the biggest question, or what's the biggest objection people have before they get started? Is it always price, or where does it go?
It's usually cost, and that's why, we've taken a different approach too recently, like making sure we really do set expectations so we don't waste your time or ours. I think there's a lot of ranges on what people are expecting, and so when you ask them if they have a budget, and they say no, we don't really know what it costs, and then you throw out, okay, like so 30,000. Whoa, 30,000. That's way too much. I mean, trying to get an idea before we even get started. Not to say that it can't be done for that, but then really making sure we set clear expectations about what where we're at cost wise. But always the biggest objection is cost. I think a lot of people don't understand how costly some of these projects can get, and not because I'm over here making the big bucks, but mainly because to do it correctly, it does cost money. Especially, like I said, post-COVID, goods and services have gone up significantly. I think everybody knows that. I always talk about the trickle-down effect. The eggs at the grocery store, that affects everybody and everybody's pricing, because then that employee that works for me has to afford those eggs, and they're asking me for a raise, and insurance goes up, and it goes on and on.
Yeah, no, there's so much that's involved, but make sure that you don't cut those corners like you talked about, because you really cost yourself a lot by doing so. And if you're gonna, there's what places you can definitely cut. It might be to say, let's not do that corner, but don't let's just put cheap materials in there, because then you're going to be redoing this thing, and the structure's got to be in place. And the inspector comes through later and says, "What's going on here? This is not allowed." They make you tear the whole thing out.
We do a lot of consultation too, like to achieve the goal or the look. There's other things that we can do that might not be as expensive. An example of that would be putting like certain stone ledgers in a shower versus actual stone. Some people want the actual thing, but when we look, we can still achieve the look by doing something a little bit more cost effective.
Yes, and make sure you have that quality there, obviously. And there's different grade levels, and they're all appropriate. It's just a matter of, do you want the Taj Mahal, or you want something that just looks really high quality, but don't get the cheap stuff, and don't cut things out that are necessary to make it look professional and attain the goal long term for what you're going to do with your house. Because you're probably going to sell your house at some point, or you let your kids inherit it, or it could be the tools you use to retire with. And so make sure. What gives you the most satisfaction? Obviously, you get a lot of fun you get to do here, and somebody who's a go-getter, what do you love most about this?
I love seeing a space before, because in my mind I know what it's going to look like after, or what I want it to look like. But really, then when we do our final walkthrough, and the customer gets to see the end when it's really complete, and my vision and their vision came to life. And really, I love helping people make their dreams come true.
Well, that's what everybody should gain some satisfaction. With that, I put up on the wall behind us what you do in the community. And we talked about this a little bit in the first show, but special spaces here. I'll put this on the wall. And this is the St. Louis, Missouri. This is the Missouri chapter. Tell me about, real quickly here, we got about a minute left to talk about what Special Spaces really does for people.
So we are a local chapter of a large organization, but we serve the St. Louis area. And again, we build dream bedrooms for children with cancer. So we go in one day and completely redo their entire room. We've seen some really cool things. We've done everything from superhero rooms to American Ninja Warrior, where we put a rock wall and a zip line in someone's room. So
oh, wow.
Again, this is making dreams come true for kids that are facing something that we can't change. We can't get involved in that as Special Spaces, but we can change their bedroom and how they provide a safe and comforting place for them.
Lots of great things that happen in our community. Pay attention to it, because it affects you. You should be involved. And Keelyn and I both enjoy doing things in the community, because it doesn't make an impact. Plus, it makes you feel good.
It does.
And if you can wake up every day with a smile on your face, you know you're doing something to contribute. That's what we're looking for. Stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle Show.